Let's find a comfortable position, and we'll start by closing the eyes. Maybe rocking around to get nice and grounded, rolling the shoulders, wrists or ankles, or fingers and toes. Just get yourself nice and comfortable. Just take a few breaths on your own without changing a single thing about the breath. Just allowing it to flow in and out of the lungs. As you ease your way into your practice, start to relax all the muscles in your face, your eyes, your forehead, ears, jaw, and tongue. Feeling the temperature of your breath in your throat, your chest. Letting the shoulders draw down and back, opening up the heart. Breathing into the rib cage, feeling the expansion both in the front of the body, both sides of the body, and even into your back. Starting to slowly, gradually deepening the breath little by little. And expanding the breath as well into your low belly. Inflating the low belly like a balloon, letting it deflate, bringing belly button back towards spine as you exhale. Just nice fluid movements, moving with the breath. Grounding your sits bones onto your surface, wherever you're sitting or laying down. And we'll take a couple more rounds of breath here together, just finding a little bit of silence for the mind. Just acknowledging any thought that comes in and out of the mind, acknowledging that it's only just a thought, and finding those little pauses in between each thought. After your next breath, we'll meet the hands together in prayer position in front of the heart. We'll bow the head forward. And as usual in my class, as we usually do, go ahead and create an intention for your practice or something to dedicate your day to. Something positive to bring your focus towards whenever your mind starts to wander. And gently start to blink the eyes open, looking down at the tips of your fingers. We'll bring the head to neutral, hands to knees. We'll let the right ear fall towards your right shoulder. Then we'll reach the left arm. You can keep the left arm on the leg here, or if you want, you can reach it out to your mat or chair, wherever you're doing this practice today. You can customize it to your own needs here. Find a nice stretch for the left side of the neck and top of the left shoulder. Let's take 3 big breaths. Possibly walking the fingers away from you any amount. Bring both hands to knees, rotate your chin down to your chest, and then over to the other side, letting the left ear fall to the left shoulder. Relax both shoulders, sit tall. If you like, reach the right arm out to the floor. You might be walking away from you and take 3 big breaths. Both hands come back to the knees. We'll rotate the chin back to your chest. Take a breath here and stretch the back of the neck. And then we'll roll the shoulders up and back a few times to bring the head back to neutral. And just alternate shoulders or roll the shoulders any amount there or any direction. Awesome. We'll briefly come to our back. So finding position on your back, we'll hug the right knee into the chest. Spread all 10 toes. This knee can be soft. You can even bend it if you'd like to, or if possible, press the back of the knee down to the floor. And breathe. And for any of these postures, feel free to pause this video if you want to hold it a little bit longer. We'll bring the weight of your leg here into the right hand and gently open the right knee out to the right side, just a couple of degrees. Spreading all 10 toes still, possibly pressing the back of that left knee to the floor if you'd like, keeping both hips grounded. Inhale, bring the knee back to center, and then guide it over to the left. Both hips can stay grounded if you want to just find that stretch for the outer hip here and a little bit of a baby twist. Or if you want to go a little deeper, you can lift this right hip off the floor and let this leg hover or maybe touch the floor, or you can rest this leg onto a prop. We'll reach the right arm out to the side and breathe. Take 3 big breaths. Again, feel free to pause this and hold anything longer if you'd like to. We'll inhale, come back to center. We'll straighten the right leg to meet the left. Pause here for a moment. Notice how the right side feels compared to the left, just noticing if there's a difference or not. we'll take the other side, hugging the left knee into the chest. Same as before, whatever you want to do with the straightened leg, maybe press it down. Spread all 10 toes, hug the knee in nice and close. Try to relax the shoulders once you find that hugging, finding a good amount of resistance there. And breathe. And we'll let the leg fall out to the left side using your hands to support the leg. Just any amount, open the left knee out to the left. Both hips are staying grounded. And breathe, spread the toes. We're keeping it nice and gentle today since I haven't personally been practicing as much as I should during these times. I don't know about you guys out there, but we're keeping it gentle for this class. Good. Next breath, bring the knee back through center, and then over to your right, finding either a baby twist or you can go more into a full twist. And breathe. Next, inhale, come back to center. We'll straighten the left leg to meet the right. Pause for a moment. Feel any sensations on either hip or both. And while we're here, we'll bend the knees, place the feet onto the floor, scooting the heels in as close as you can. We'll turn the palms down onto the floor and roll the shoulders back, any amount. And remembering to keep your gaze straight up to the ceiling, because once we lift the hips, we're going to come to bridge. You want to keep the neck nice and neutral to keep it protected. When you're ready, we'll inhale, lift the hips, any amount. If you have a prop you want to put your hips onto here, you can take supported bridge. Otherwise, we won't be here too long. And then send your breath into your chest, your rib cage, your shoulders, your throat. You can come down and rest anytime. Let's take 3 more big breaths. And if you're still with us here, we'll lift the heels a little bit, and then we'll roll 1 vertebrae at a time all the way down. Tailbone comes down last. We'll heel toe the feet to the outer edges of the mat, and we'll let the knees come together. And once the knees come together, we'll gently, super gently, press the low back into the mat, help it bring back to neutral. We'll just sway the knees side to side. Take some windshield wiper motions. Oh yeah. We're going to really try to open up the hips and the low back today. Oh, and you know what? While we're here on your backs, let's take happy baby real quick. You can bend the knees in towards the armpits. You can grab behind the knees. You can grab your clothing. Or if possible, you can grab either the outside or inside of your feet.
Remind yourself to breathe if you've forgotten. And you can be still, or if you want, you can sway side to side. Give the back a massage. Awesome. We'll hug the knees into the chest. Give them a little squeeze. And then let's rock a little bit side to side. With the knees into the chest. Awesome. We'll bring the hands behind the knees. And then we'll start to rock forward and backward a couple times. So rocking all the way up to seated, back down. If you're feeling fancy today, you might kick back into plow. If you want to add that, no worries if you don't want to. You can totally make this your own. Let's rock 2 or 3 more times. Get the blood flow moving. Massaging the back a little bit. Awesome. And then let's come to a butterfly. Soles of the feet together. You can grab onto ankles or take your peace fingers, wrap them around the big toes. Sit nice and tall, and we'll just flutter the knees a little bit, waking up the hip flexors. Big connection to some low back pain if you have some tight hip flexors. Awesome. And then let's straighten the right leg out to the side. And we'll bring your left sole of the foot to the inner thigh. Spread the toes. Sit tall. Take a breath and prepare. And then we'll take a nice little side bend. We'll keep the heart facing forward, and we'll reach this left arm up and over. If you're having any pain in the shoulder, you can always reach the hand down to the side if you want a little bit less resistance. And notice once you come into this side bend, notice the amount of sensation that starts to build. And what I'd invite you to do is to take maybe 50 or 60% of your full pose here. Because as you might notice by now, the intensity does grow over time. And we're going to hold this for just a couple breaths. So find a comfortable angle here if you need to walk your fingers a little bit back to make the resistance more bearable. So we're not trying to go 100% here. We're just be nice and gentle and breathe. Send the breath over to the left side body. You can play with where you want to turn the head, if you want to look up or down or straight ahead, whatever feels good for the neck. And breathe. Maybe closing the eyes. Resting whenever you need to. So we always practice ahimsa, which means nonviolence to yourself and others. 1 or 2 more breaths. You can always pause and hold longer. And slowly, mindfully, we'll inhale, come back up to seated. Feel that sensation perhaps on that left side. And we're going to twist slightly to face the straightened leg. Keep the toes spread wide. We'll inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, fold forward towards the straight leg. Lengthening the low back as much as you can, but we're going to be rounded here, so you can round the spine a little bit. But thinking about the low back, keeping the space there. And softening your elbows wherever your hands are rested. Whether you want hands on the floor or if you want to grab onto the foot or ankle. And continue your breath. Some add-on things here, if you'd like to. You might even press your hands into the floor a little bit to help anchor down the left hip onto the floor. And a little bonus stretch, if you need a little bit more, you can take your left hand and wrap it around the outside, maybe of your shin bone, or you might even reach it to the outer edge or pinky edge of your right leg here, and that'll add a little bit more of that stretch into the side. And breathe. And when the mind starts to wander, come back to that intention that you created earlier. Something positive to focus your mind onto if your mind is racing today. And of course, coming back to the breath whenever you can remember. Let's take one more breath. And then gently inhale, come back up to seated. Ooh, I'm feeling that. Oh man. We're gonna hug the left knee in, bring the sole of the left foot onto the floor. We'll reach that right arm up to the sky, spread the toes, and then we'll twist. You can take a gentle twist and hug the knee, or you can hook the elbow if you'd like to, whatever feels good. Left hand reaches behind you onto the floor for support. Inhale, we'll lengthen, take big breaths in, and exhales to twist, just letting the neck turn wherever it wants to go naturally without forcing the neck. We'll inhale, come back through center. We'll find butterfly again. Grab onto ankles or big toes and we'll flutter the knees. And we'll take the other side. Ooh, man, I need this yoga. I am tight in the low back. I can feel it. I don't know about you. So we're going to bring sole of the foot to the inner thigh, spread the toes, heart stays forward for this first one. And we'll take a side bend when you're ready, taking your breath in to prepare, and then exhaling to side bend. And find that middle ground. We don't need to go in 100%. We're just here to practice. We're here to just listen in and tune into our bodies. Go with the flow. And most importantly, breathe. So sending that breath, if you're not already, into this whole right side. And this stretch, the side bend and the second stretch following this one as well are so good for the low back. So maybe doing this a couple times throughout the week. Even just these two stretches, just incorporating these for a couple minutes of your day, you might start to notice a big difference over time. And breathe, just a couple more. Rest when you need to. You can rest the arm when you need to if your shoulder starts to hurt. And one more breath. And mindfully come back up to center. Take a pause. Ooh. Hopefully it shouldn't be too painful. That's why we don't want to go in 100%. Because we don't want to hurt ourselves trying to do these poses here. And then we'll turn the heart just a little bit towards the straight leg. Take a breath in to lengthen, and then exhale, fold, just like the other side. If you want to follow the same pattern you did on the other side, or if you want to do something a little different, if you notice a difference on one side compared to the other. Again, if you want to add anything here, you can take your right hand, maybe bring it to the outer pinky edge side of the shin or pinky edge side of the foot. Add a little bit of stretch, perhaps pressing your left palm into the mat a little bit to help anchor down and add to the stretch here. A nice big breaths in and out through the nose. Sending the breath to where you feel the sensation happening. one more breath. And the next inhale, we'll come back up to seated. Woo. We'll hug the right knee in, place the sole of the right foot into or onto the mat. Sits bones are grounded. We'll lift the left arm up to the sky, spread the toes, and then exhale, twist. Right arm can reach to the floor behind you. Nice couple of breaths here. Just a little counter pose. Awesome. We'll come back to center. We'll find butterfly one more time. We'll flutter the knees. Just waking up those hip flexors. Awesome. Then let's come to hands and knees. Let's see, which way do I want to face? I guess we'll face. I'll turn this way. Doesn't matter. Let's take some cat-cows. Inhaling to drop the belly. Open the heart and the throat. Opening both the front and the back of the throat so we're not cranking the neck back. And exhaling to push the floor away. Curl the spine, belly button to spine, head falls heavy. And just take a couple of these at your own pace. Next time your spine comes back to neutral, we'll bring the big toes together. We'll bring the knees a little bit wide, maybe as wide as the mat or a little bit more than hip width distance. And we'll sink back into child's pose. And resting the head somewhere. So if the head can come to the floor, that's awesome. You can make a pillow with your hands or use maybe a blanket to elevate the head a little bit so you can rest it completely. And as you're here, I'll invite you to take 3 breaths here, breathing in through the nose and then breathing out through the mouth. We'll come up to the fingertips of the palms and then walk your hands any amount to the left. Find that side body stretch and then rest the head either onto one of the arms or the floor. Pressing just a little bit into the palms to help anchor that right hip down to the right heel. Take 3 breaths here into that right side of your body. Inhale, walk back to center. And then exhale over to your right. Same thing. If you'd like, you can press the palms into the floor. Help anchor this left hip down towards left heel. And breathe. Awesome. Inhale, come back to center. We'll roll up to hands and knees. We'll curl the back toes under. We'll walk the hands forward a little bit. And we'll lift the knees and the hips, downward dog. And just pedal out one at a time. And turn the head yes and no. You can find your downward dog here however is comfortable. You can come down and rest at any time into your child's pose. You can come back down and do some cat-cows, and then come back up when you're ready. And just pedal it out. Eventually, if you'd like, find some stillness in your downward dog. Think about shifting the weight more towards the heels and the feet, even though if the heels aren't touching the floor, like mine are not touching the floor. But imagining shifting the weight towards your heels so that you can slowly start eventually to get rid of the wrinkles from your wrist here. Spreading the fingers wide, spreading thumbs and first fingers firmly into the mat. And then let's walk the feet forward, find a forward fold. I would recommend softening the knees a little bit or a lot, and let the head fall heavy. Wherever the hands are touching, whether they're onto some props here or the floor, wherever you can rest and take some of that pressure off the neck and the spine. Next inhale, we'll lift halfway. Exhale, refold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, fold, Uttanasana. We'll circle the arms out and up. We'll inhale, rise all the way up to standing. You're not going to see my head, but that's okay. And then exhale, we'll swan dive forward, lead with the heart. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, plant the hands and we'll just tippy toe or walk your way back to your downward dog. Inhale, we'll roll forward into plank. You can stay up in plank, or you can drop the knees down like I'm going to do, uncurl the toes. On your exhale, shift the heart forward. Bend the elbows up against the rib cage, just like you're doing a tricep push-up. Lower all the way down, chaturanga. Inhale, peel the heart forward, any back bend. If you want to take a baby cobra, or if you want to come up to your up dog, you can decide that for yourself. And we'll come down to rest. And inhale, we'll come up to all fours. Exhale, child's pose, just a breath or two. We'll come up to all fours. Then we're going to step your right foot forward in between your hands. You can help it to get there. If you need anything underneath your knee, this is a good time to add a pillow or blanket under the knee. And then just check in with the alignment so that the knee is over the ankle. We don't want it to look like this or like this necessarily, but find a good spacing there so that it's comfortable. If possible, add some books or blocks here and we'll lunge forward and back a few times. Finding your half splits, lunging back forward to that low lunge. And just again, we're opening up these hip flexors into the left hip. And as we come back to our half splits, we're opening up those hamstrings. Just take a couple more. Next time you lunge forward, we're going to come up onto the thigh. If this is comfortable, stay here. You can always rest anytime. Good. You can keep your hands here, and if you're open to today, we'll reach the arms down to your sides. And then we'll circle them out and up to the sky. Unshrug the shoulders, let both sides of the neck be long, and breathe. One more breath, you're doing awesome. Good, next breath, both hands frame your front foot, if not already. Then we'll step it back, curl the toes under, downward dog, we'll walk it out. And we'll inhale, roll forward into plank. You can keep the knees lifted or drop them down. Exhale, shift forward, chaturanga. Inhale, open the heart, any back bend of your choice. Press through the tops of the feet into the floor. And we'll come down to rest. Inhale, come up through tabletop. Exhale, child's pose, just for a breath or two. Next breath, we'll come up through tabletop. Then we're going to take the other side, we'll step the left foot forward. Find a good angle there. You can help the foot to get there if needed. Set up with some blocks or books here if you need some extra height. And then we'll go forward and back, just like the other side. Back and forth. And breathing if you've forgotten to breathe. That's one thing with breathing in yoga is obviously you don't have to think about breathing. But once you can connect with that breath, it makes your yoga practice so much more amazing. One more. The next time you lunge forward, we'll start to make our way up to the thigh. And if this is too much, if it's been a little while, or if it hurts in any way, you can always keep your hands grounded onto your props or the floor. And breathe. Good, stay here. Or if possible, we'll reach the hands down towards your hips. And then we'll circle them out and up to the sky. Unshrug the shoulders, lengthen the neck. Take 3 big breaths here. Awesome. That's a hard one sometimes. We'll bring both hands forward. We'll step it back. Curl the toes under. Downward facing dog. And inhale, roll to plank. Either knees up or down. Exhale, shift forward, chaturanga. Inhale, find your back bend. Exhale, come down to rest. Breath in, come up through table. And then breath out, child's pose. Inhale, come up through tabletop. And we'll roll over to seated. And then we'll come onto our backs. Where are we at? Okay, there we go. We'll come to our backs once again. We'll bend the knees, place the feet onto the ground. We'll cross the right ankle over the left knee, Find that figure 4 stretch or seated pigeon, whatever you want to call it. And you can stay here if you're feeling the stretch happening already. Otherwise, when you're ready, we'll lift the left foot and we'll interlace the fingers and wrap it behind the back of your left knee. And spread all 10 toes, both feet, flexing the feet, opening up the toes. And find that resistance, both of pulling in slightly and also pressing this right knee away from you. Once you find that resistance in that outer hip, you can relax the shoulders the best you can and breathe. We'll reach the arms out to the shape of the T position. And then we'll let the legs fall to your left. If you want to keep this position, you can plant the right sole of your foot possibly onto the floor. You can even grab onto the left foot for support. If this is too much for you, go ahead and uncross and just stack the knees. Otherwise, you can keep this stretch here going. And breathe, maybe turning the head over to the right palm or straight ahead. Next breath will unwind your twist back to center. And we'll switch legs, or before we switch legs, we'll straighten both legs for a moment. And rest. And then when you're ready, we'll plant the right foot onto the floor. And then the left ankle will cross over that right knee. You can stay right here. Or when you're ready, you can lift the right foot, just like the other side. We'll interlace the fingers, wrap behind the right thigh or kneecap there. Spreading all 10 toes, finding that resistance of both that pulling in and pushing away. And let the shoulders and neck relax once you find that stretch. Nice big breaths. Nice mindful breathing. If today your mind is racing a lot today for any reason, just come back to your positive intention that you created earlier. Next breath, we'll reach the arms out to a T, then let the legs fall over to your right side. Possibly the sole of this left foot can plant onto the floor. You can hold on to it for support, Or again, if it's not very comfortable, go ahead and just stack the knees and take a regular twist variation. And if you want, you can look over to the left palm or straight ahead. And then again, breathing as usual. Next breath, we'll bring head and legs back to center. We'll straighten both legs. And we'll take a full body stretch. We'll reach the arms up alongside the ears. We'll point the toes. Take a nice long body stretch. And let's hug both knees into the chest. You can wrap hands onto knees or maybe even the shin bones. And we'll rock side to side. Then from here, we'll set up for Shavasana. Since this is recorded, you can take your Shavasana anywhere. If you want to just lay here on your mat, and any variation with your legs or arms, if you want to just lay where you're at. Otherwise, if you want, you can find a comfortable space, maybe on a bed or a couch. Feel free to pause this if you need to move around somewhere more comfortable. And we'll set up for Shavasana. I'm going to sit up here so I can guide you through it. There we go. Good. Once you're comfortable, we'll close the eyes. Hopefully you're laying down somewhere nice and comfortable for you. You can set up however you need to. And closing the eyes. Starting to relax all the muscles in your face. All the tiny little muscles around your eyes. Relaxing your ears by unclenching your jaw, letting the tongue and throat relax. Breathing into your chest, your rib cage. Relaxing both shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers. Breathing into your solar plexus and your low belly, feeling that rising and falling sensation of your breath. Softening both hips, legs, feet, and toes. Feeling the air hug your skin. The beating of your heart. The sound of your own breath as
well as noticing the temperature of your breath. As well as the difference in temperatures between your inhales and then your exhales. Just letting go, opening your heart and mind to just lay here and observe. Letting go of the idea of having a clear mind or silent mind. Instead, just observing the thoughts. Whatever thought decides to pop into your mind, just acknowledging it and then letting it pass, reminding yourself that thoughts are just thoughts. They are not reality. And instead of focusing on each thought, although it could be difficult at times depending on what thought comes into your mind, just allowing yourself to feel what comes up. And as each thought leaves the mind, noticing and observing those pauses of silence between each thought. All you have to do here is breathe, and I'll guide you when Shavasana is over. slowly start to make teeny tiny movements in the fingers and toes. Starting to circle the wrists and the ankles. Maybe gently turning the head from side to side. Stretching arms and legs, or even a full body stretch. And when you're ready, taking your time, keeping the eyes closed or softened, start to roll your body to either your left or right side, finding a fetal-like position on one side, resting your head onto an arm or maybe a pillow. And as you lay here on your side, I invite you to think of one or a couple things that you're grateful for. Finding gratitude for today. And once you've found your gratitude, slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Sitting tall once you get there. And meeting with hands in prayer position in front of the heart. We'll bow the chin to the chest. And as you breathe here, I ask you silently, how does it feel to be you right now in this very moment? Thank you